During World War II, the United States Army built airfields all over the country in order to train large numbers of pilots quickly. The Freeman Army Airfield outside the small town of Seymour in southern Indiana was one of them, and the museum that sits on the airfield's former site has a particularly interesting story to tell.
Freeman Army Airfield was built in essentially the whole year of 1942. Rail transportation was really important, late 30s, early 40s. Seymour had intersecting north-south railroads, so they could bring in things by rail. And we had north-south highways, so we had good highways and good rail transportation.
The airfield was primarily used to train pilots to fly dual-engine aircraft using Beech AT-10s. A product of wartime rationing, these training craft were shockingly bare-bones.
It only had 2 seats, side by side in the front. The whole back of the airplane was just empty, open. No seats, no structure for seats, no cargo support, no nothing. So it kept the expense down. Secondly, they could build them fast. And third, it was mostly constructed of wood. Everything from the cockpit aft was wood. Now, clearly, they had to have metal engine mounts and metal landing gear and so forth, but the wings were wood. Even the wing spars, the main support in the wings, were wood.
Towards the end of the war, the airfield was used to house and examine captured enemy aircraft, part of a project known as Luftwaffe Secret Technology, or Operation Lusty.
So some of those airplanes they put back together and test flew to evaluate their flying characteristics, how well they handled, what kind of special high lift devices they had, well, aerodynamics. Other ones they completely disassembled because they wanted to check the metallurgy, what were these aircraft made out of.
Notably, this airfield was also the site of an early episode in the civil rights movement. Here, over 2 days in April of 1945, a group of black officers tried to force their way into the informally whites-only officers' club, causing minor altercations between white and black officers.
Because in spite of what the higher-up command said, the truth is that segregation in military bases was still rampant. In a matter of a few days, the whole country knew about it. It didn't go over well at all. People were outraged that these guys got arrested.
While nearly all charges were eventually dropped and no officers received heavy sentences, informal segregation in the U.S. Armed Forces would last another 4 years. In 1947, the U.S. Army handed over the airfield to the city of Seymour. It's now known as the Freeman Municipal Airport.
Yeah, it's an airport today that is used every day. It just doesn't have any commercial service.
Much has changed over the years, and in fact, the buildings which comprise the Airfield Museum are some of the last remaining from the 1940s. For now, though, the exhibits and artifacts inside continue to illustrate what life was like on this historic installation, giving visitors a better understanding of this unique piece of American history.
It's museums like ours are the only people that are keeping this stuff. Yeah, you can go down to the big World War II museum in New Orleans. I've been through it. It's really nice. But how many people can go to New Orleans? It's a big effort. Here, these local hometown museums that do things like we do are, I think, really meaningful for preserving our national history.